I'm Natalie, 30 years old, and last week my father called me in tears. The first time in my entire life I had ever heard him cry. 2 years ago, I called my parents crying, having just received a stage 3 cancer diagnosis. My father said one sentence I will never forget: 6 months of chemotherapy, 36 trips to the hospital. Not a single visit from my family. They were too busy planning my brother's wedding. Now my father needs me. And my answer was exactly 4 words. Let me take you back 2 years, to the day I got the call from my doctor. I was a senior graphic designer at a mid-sized agency in Boston. I had clawed my way up from intern to senior designer in 5 years, with no help from anyone. My apartment was a one-bedroom in Somerville. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. I had a routine: coffee at 6:30, gym 3 times a week, dinner with my friend Claire on Thursdays. That Wednesday started like any other. I was in the middle of a campaign for a big client when my phone buzzed with a number I didn't recognize. Miss Hartley, this is Dr. Morgan's office. We have your biopsy results. I remember the exact temperature of my coffee, lukewarm, because I had forgotten about it for an hour. They don't call you in for good news. The next morning, Dr. Morgan didn't waste time. Stage 3 breast cancer, she said. The tumor is aggressive. We need to start treatment immediately. I sat in that sterile office, feeling my body leave the chair, like I was watching myself from somewhere near the ceiling. Do you have someone who can drive you home? Without thinking, I said, I'll call my dad. Here is what you need to understand about my family. My father, Thomas Hartley, was the kind of man who believed his word was law. Not in the dramatic way, but in that quiet, immovable way that made everyone around him adjust their lives to accommodate his opinions. My brother Ethan was 2 years younger than me, but you would never know it by how our parents treated us. Ethan got everything without asking. I got told that girls don't need expensive degrees, so I took out $87,000 in student loans for a state school. Ethan had just gotten engaged to Nicole, and the wedding set for October had consumed my family like a black hole. Every conversation was about the wedding. Dad, I said into the phone, my voice cracking. I just came from the doctor. I have cancer. Stage 3. Silence. I could hear him breathing. Then he said something I will never forget. Natalie, we can't deal with this right now. Your brother is planning his wedding. You're a strong girl. You've always been independent. You'll figure it out. The line went dead. I sat on that bench for 45 minutes. I wanted to call back. I wanted to scream that his daughter might be dying. But I didn't. I just took a screenshot of the call log and added it to a folder I titled Family. That was the last time I called my father for 2 years. The first day of chemotherapy, I drove myself to the hospital. I was assigned to chair 7 in the infusion center. The nurse, a kind woman named Rita, accessed my port and started the drip. It's okay to be nervous, honey. Most people bring someone with them. She was right. Every other chair had someone: a husband holding his wife's hand, a mother reading to her teenager, a daughter with homemade soup. Chair 7 had me. Just me. I texted my mother that day, starting chemo today. I'm scared. She replied 6 hours later, after I was already home curled up on my bathroom floor. Hang in there, sweetie. I'm at the florist with Nicole picking centerpieces. Peonies or roses, what do you think? I stared at that message for a long time. Then I screenshot it and typed back, roses are nice. I didn't tell her I'd spent the last hour unable to stand. I met Claire during my 3rd chemo session. She was a nurse practitioner who ran a cancer support group, and she approached me directly one afternoon. You're always alone, she said, sitting beside me. I noticed. I didn't ask if you were fine. I asked why you're always alone. Big difference. I should have brushed her off, but I was 3 rounds into chemo, my hair was thinning, and I hadn't had a real conversation with anyone in weeks. My family is busy, I said, with my brother's wedding. Something flickered in her eyes. She told me that the hospital kept visitor logs, official records of every patient visit. I didn't understand why she was telling me that, but I filed it away, and 3 days later I requested my first coffee. Ethan's wedding happened without me. My father had called beforehand to say they thought it best I didn't attend. You look unwell, he said. It's Ethan's special day. We don't want anything to overshadow it. Anything meaning me. The wedding photos appeared on Facebook. My mother's post got 247 likes while I lay recovering from round 4. The caption read, "The happiest day of our family's life." I screenshot it, closed Facebook, and didn't open it again for 6 months. 3 weeks after the wedding, the medical bills started arriving. After deductibles, co-pays, and medications my insurance wouldn't cover, I was looking at $47,000 I didn't have. I sold my car, canceled every subscription, stopped buying groceries that weren't on sale. And when that still wasn't enough, I asked my father for help. His response came 2 hours later. "Your mother and I just finished paying for Ethan's wedding. We don't have extra right now. Have you looked into a personal loan?" My family had just spent $80,000 on my brother's wedding and couldn't spare a single dollar for my survival. I applied for a personal loan at 14% interest, because what other choice did I have? The worst night came after round 4. I woke up to a pillow covered in hair, crawled to the bathroom, and spent hours on the floor shaking while my body tried to reject everything inside it. At 2047 in the morning, I called my mother. The phone rang 8 times. I called again. Voicemail. At 3:15, I texted Claire, "I think I need help." She showed up 40 minutes later, still in scrubs, sat with me on the bathroom floor, held what was left of my hair, and stayed until sunrise. My mother called back at 10 the next morning. "Sweetie, I had my phone on silent. Nicole and I were at the spa. Post-wedding stress relief. What did you need?" I looked at Claire making tea in my tiny kitchen, then at the bald patches in the bathroom mirror. "Nothing, Mom." It was nothing. "Oh good. Love you." She hung up before I could respond. 2 years later, I was cancer-free. Dr. Morgan told me, no evidence of disease, and I walked out to my car and cried for an hour. Not sad tears, not even happy tears, exactly. Just release. I had been promoted to art director. I had moved into a condo in Beacon Hill with a window overlooking the river. Claire and I still had dinner every Thursday. I had built a life, a real one, entirely on my own. And then my father called. His voice was different. Thin, uncertain. My father had never sounded uncertain in his life. "I'd been diagnosed with something," he said. "Parkinson's disease. Early stage." He needed his family around him. He wanted me at a Sunday dinner to discuss the future. After I hung up, I realized he had never once asked if I was okay. He didn't even know if I had survived. Sunday dinner at my parents' house in Newton felt like stepping back into a life I had outgrown. The same mahogany table, the crystal chandelier, the family photos on the wall that stopped at my 18th birthday. Ethan's graduation, Ethan's engagement, Ethan's wedding, me, frozen in a prom dress. My father sat at the head of the table, smaller than I remembered, his left hand trembling slightly against the white tablecloth. "I'll get right to it," he said. "I need long-term care. And Natalie, you're the obvious choice. You work from home, you don't have a family of your own. Your old room is already prepared. Obvious. Not best, not preferred. Obvious. The leftover daughter, the one without a husband or children, the one who could be useful." Ethan nodded without meeting my eyes. "It makes sense," he said. "I've got the baby coming, the job, you understand." My mother's voice was soft but insistent. "Your father needs you." "We're not asking," my father added, his authority still present beneath the frailty. "We're telling you what needs to happen. You're the daughter. This is what daughters do. This is what daughters do." The words hung in the air like smoke. Before I answer, I said, "I want to ask you something. When was the last time you asked how I was doing?" Silence. "Do you even know if I'm still in remission? Do you know what my last scan showed? Do you know anything about my health at all?" My father's face shifted. Then I reached into my purse, slowly and deliberately, and placed my phone face up on the mahogany table. "I had stage 3 cancer," I said. 6 months of chemotherapy. I lost my hair. I spent $47,000 out of pocket after you told me to get a loan. And I showed them the screen, the hospital visitor log, official documentation, 36 visits, and one column that repeated the same word over and over. None. 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 My mother's hands trembled as she scrolled through months of entries. Ethan grabbed the phone and went pale. Nicole leaned over his shoulder, her jaw tight. Every screenshot was time-stamped. Every visitor record was official hospital documentation. "This isn't my opinion," I told them. "This is what happened. This is what all of you did." My father stared at me, tears falling, the full weight of the truth settling over the room. I stood slowly and smoothed my blouse. I looked at my father. "You have a son," I said. "A son you paid $80,000 for his wedding. A son you have never asked to sacrifice anything. Ask him to be your caregiver." Then I picked up my purse and walked toward the door. My father's voice broke. "Natalie, please, I'm begging you. I'm scared. I need you. You're my daughter." I turned back. "Dad," I said, "2 years ago I called you crying. I told you I had cancer. I told you I was terrified. And you said we can't deal with this right now." I let the words settle. "So here's my answer." I smiled, peaceful and clear. "I can't deal with this right now." Then I walked out the door and didn't look back once. Months later, a letter arrived in my father's handwriting, shaky and uneven. "I failed you," he wrote, "not because I didn't know better, but because I made a choice. Your brother's happiness over your survival. I will carry that for the rest of my life. I am not asking you to come back. I am not asking for forgiveness. I only want you to know that I see it now. I see the daughter I pushed away and the woman she became without me. You are stronger than I ever was. Your father, if you still allow me that title, Thomas." I folded the letter and placed it in a drawer. I didn't write back, but I didn't throw it away either. I am still cancer-free. I have been promoted to creative director. I am dating someone kind who shows up consistently, the way people who love you are supposed to. Claire and I still have dinner every Thursday. I have built a family from the people who chose to stay. And I have learned something that took me far too long to understand. Family isn't blood. Family is who shows up when you need them most. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is walk away from people who never loved you back. Take care of yourself. I really mean it.